All right, everyone, this is Yosemite Sims here. Thank you so much for coming on this video. I am doing a Let's Debate on a K-drama and an anime, Boys Over Flowers. So there's just some questions that we're going to go over, and I'm going to debate on which one I think is the best. So for this one is the F4's best entrance. I am all for Lee Min-ho and his gang. Look at him in his fur with the light shining. I love that. I love that. I don't like his curly hair though. Anime version. I love them and their dead stares, but this part I didn't really understand. And then this part, I'm like, yeah, their outfits is all right and whatever, but compared to Lee Min-ho and his gang, no, this is not. This is an important question. Who suffered the most? The anime girl or the Korean girl? Sorry, I forgot their names. What was it? Gumdi and Makino. Okay, so Makino, look at her. So she's always being jumped at school. Always. Look, she got hit with a bat in her stomach. The things that happened to her was just unspeakable. It's just crazy how they put all this in this anime. Like, look, they tied her up and they about to drag her by the car. Like, I've never seen this in an anime. Like, I've seen a lot of stuff on anime, but like when it comes to bullying, but this one was definitely the worst. She definitely suffered the most. Now she trying to play volleyball and got hit in the face. Girl, I feel you. That happened to me in high school. It's very embarrassing. But for her, just keep throwing these volleyballs at her and spiked it on her stomach. I felt that one. This part, I thought this was the worst because it sort of happened with Gumdi on the K-drama, but this one was worse because they actually tore it up. This part, this kind of happened in the K-drama too, but for Makino, it was the worst for her because the dude actually tried to blackmail her. And he interfered with her and her relationship, her being at school and stuff. Like, this was definitely more terrible than Gumdi. This was the yo, I hate this one. And I don't like Domyoji because he did this. He basically tried to force himself on her. And just hearing her cries, her plea, her like, and I think I feel for this hard, not only because I'm a human being, but also like, you know, women go through stuff like this, and it's very hard, especially to watch something like this, and then also in the next scene, it's even more terrible. But like, he really did try to force himself on her, and it was still worse. Like, why she had to cry for him to stop. That's what I'm talking about. This part, I really felt this part because girls, like, y'all had a dude just keep coming at you. But then have you ever had a guy come at your face like that and force a kiss? Like, I've seen that before, and it's just like, ugh, so cringy. But him trying to force a kiss on her like this for her to scream hurts my heart. It really does. This part, she was definitely dumb for believing these girls, but she went out in the snow trying to look for her friend, right? She tried to go out in the snow looking out for her friend. It's a freaking blizzard. What you doing going out there thinking she really out there slaying or whatever? Like, no. So she goes out here looking for her friend, and then she slips. You'll see. Oh, first she hurts her ankle, of course. Then she falls, and you'll see that. Basically falling to her death. So what makes this the most messed up for her is that she literally almost died. Like, this never really happened in Kundi, but this was the worst because she literally could have died in the snow. So, of course, I give it to her. Now, for Kundi, she just has eggs thrown at her. And like, yeah, it was bad and all. Like, yeah, her uniform got messed up, but her family owns a dry cleaner. She can just get it cleaned. Versus what happened with Makino. Hers was actually teared. Like, she had to like sew it all together and everything. But for Gumdi, yeah, she did suffer, but not like that. Not like Makino. Then they poured some flour on her to make her look like a chicken or something. They should have threw some feathers there too. But seeing that one tear was actually kind of sad. So for here, the three girls told her to come to this party with a Halloween costume on, and she gets embarrassed. So this was actually very embarrassing, humiliating, but ranked as the worst. I wouldn't say the worst. This one was definitely the worst for Gumdi. This was the worst for her, not for, you know, like compared to the anime. They done tripped her off her bike with a chain. Why? I don't know. Like, who thinks of stuff like that? This just lays there, leg all messed up, just crawling around in shock because she don't know what's going on or why they're doing this. And then they set the bike on fire. Like, what was the reason? What was the reason? What was the reason for that? Then they started throwing tomatoes, balloons, whatever at her. These kids are excessive. They're way too. Then the fire extinguisher. Like, I didn't understand that either. Why go that far? But none of these things go together. That's the part I don't understand. Look at her. She's about to pass out. That was sad. The worst? No. The saddest? Not even the saddest, but it was for her. I added this part on here because her family actually said they found out that she was kind of two-timing, I guess. Jun Pyo and Ji-hoo, right? So then the family actually said how they're going to disown her. So compare this with the anime. You know, this one, she didn't make the cut. Hers, it just wasn't as bad as Makino. And I hope everyone understands just by looking at these clips. Makino definitely suffered the most, okay? Okay? Bro, this was a hard one for me. Whose antics were worse? We're starting off with Lee Min-ho, my baby Lee Min-ho. So, or let me say, Lee Min-ho, because I'm learning Korean. So he actually want to fire his maids, and so this is how petty he is. Jun Pyo. He wants to fire the maids that helped dress Gumdi, or is it Gumdi or Jandi? Jandi, I think her name is Jandi. And then look, when he gets jealous, he starts going through this temper tantrum, starts throwing things, hit in the air. Did you hit your head? I don't know. He does these pranks, just like Domyoji. He does do pranks too. But this one was kind of weird. Like, you put ducks in the swimming pool so she won't be able to swim, and then you watch her through the TV, sir. You have nothing else better to do. You get up early for that. So this is one. He tries to force a kiss on her. It's bad, but not as bad as what Domyoji did, and we all saw what Domyoji did. So he tries to force a kiss. He finally realized she's not into him. She's not into you, bro. Okay, so this one. So him and Ji-hoo are doing a race for Jandi's love, basically. So obviously, it shows right here in the subtitles that if you take your horse up there, that he's gonna, you know. And then look, he rides his horse so hard that the horse basically is on his deathbed. So the horse is like panting and everything. He would never be able to race again. Like, he was so selfish and tried to win that race that his horse basically died, his horse from childhood. So then here's another race. He turns off the lights because he doesn't want everyone to know who won, because whoever wins, which was going to be Ji-hoo, was going to win Jandi's love. So look at him. He turns off the lights and walk away all... Oh, he's still cool. I love him. So look, Ji-hoo and Jandi go on a date and he's stalking them. So he's a stalker. Yes, we all know. Like Domyoji, he's kind of a stalker too. But he's actually following him in the car and then looks away like, bro, we see you. I see you. We see you. Yeah, just laugh Jiho because he's just ridiculous. So this was on the anime too, but I just added this on here because he fakes being in the hospital. I mean, at least with Domyoji, he didn't fake it. He was actually in the hospital for something. But Jun Pyo here actually faked the entire thing just to get her, to manipulate her so that she tells him exactly what he wants to hear. So he's a manipulator. I mean, Domyoji is too, but this one just took the cake from being like, you are so annoying right now. But compared to Domyoji, we'll see. So we're starting off with Domyoji. So he sees Makino with her friend, her one and only friend that came to school, and he gets jealous, obviously. Look at his face. So then he gets so jealous that he puts a red slip in his locker. When you see a red slip in your locker on Boys Over Flowers, you know that the whole school is against you, okay? So, oh yeah, he's a woman beater. So she was sticking up for herself and he smacked her. Oh, woman beater. So, what's happening on this clip? So he kicks his friend Hanazawa Rui out the F4 because he thinks that he likes Makino and then tries to tear her apart from him. Throwing camcorders, he's breaking stuff, he smacked the dog out of this girl. Yo, look how she flew. It's not funny. I do not promote this at all. I do not promote domestic violence or beating women, but that, I was like, that was uncalled for. He goes on a rampage because Makino likes Hanazawa Rui, and then he starts just bullying people, throwing things, threatening the teachers' jobs and stuff. He went on a real rampage. Look at him punch the concrete wall and look at his face as if he don't feel anything. Then he licks the blood from his hand. If you see that, they're crazy. They're crazy. They're crazy. And then on this clip, he says that he doesn't apologize and that she should apologize to him. So now I think he's a narcissist. Which of the three girls are the worst? So I wanted to add this in here because these three girls get on my nerves, but this one, the anime three girls, so they're the ones that lied to Makino saying that her friend was out there, and that's why she almost died, because she went out there because of these three girls. That's why I added this on here, even though they lied. Yeah, they all lied, but she literally could have died because of them. And then look at this part. They're saying that that Makino should be thanking them, but she literally almost died. But for them to say that she should have died there was just awful. No remorse. And then you done tripped the girl. She's hitting her head on each step, which is funny, but still, like, they just have no remorse. None. So these three girls on the Korean drama, now they're bad, but they're not that bad. Like, they didn't lie for her to almost die somewhere. They just told her to come out to this party. It was actually a formal event, but she came out in a Halloween costume, and then they just dogged her the entire time with food on her whole body. So humiliating, yes. Worst, no. Let's see if there's another one. Okay, so this also happened in the anime, but I added this on here just because of how they recorded her and stuff. It didn't show it to Jun Pyo just to make him upset so that he would somehow fall in love with the three of those girls. One of the favorite questions that I put on here: who fights off the bullies the most or the best? So Jundi or Chundi, whatever. I like this part from her. This showed character because in the beginning, I couldn't watch it because I thought she was a pushover. But for here, I love that she did that. He gonna say to lick her boot or lick his boot. And she just shoved the ice cream in his face. He fell over. She stuck up for herself and her friend. And I just love that. So for here with the egg throwing and stuff, when the school goes against her, she just tells them to keep doing more. That's her way of getting back at them. Like, you can't hurt me. Like, come on, you can throw as many eggs as you want. Like, you're not going to break me. You can make me look like a chicken, but I'll be all right. So this incident compared to Makino, look at her punching the boy in the face. She fights off her bullies. She will fight anyone that come at her. And look, this is what she do. They throw an egg at her. She catch it with a net. Everybody all surprised. Like, yeah, she's fighting for herself. That's what I love about Makino. And then I just love like the funny things that she says and everything. Like, look at her throwing a baseball and hitting somebody. And then look what she do. The middle finger. Once I saw her do that, I was in love with Makino. I was in love. So for this incident, Jundi didn't really do nothing for herself. It was people that came to her. So she kind of wait for someone to rescue her. Not saying that Makino doesn't, but at least Makino fights her battles first. So for Jundi, people had to come to her rescue. And that's how she stood up for herself in this incident where she was humiliated and embarrassed by everyone. So let's go to the anime version. Same thing happened to her. They told her it was a jeans party and she came out and it was a formal event. She actually fights back and talks back to her bullies, which are these three girls. And she actually be hurting her feelings too. And then puts juice on top of their head. Come on now. I love her. So this one, I love this about Jundi. I love this about her. So she's not scared to fight. I only seen her fight with men though. I haven't seen her do it with the whole class or those three girls. I only seen her do it with a couple of dudes, actually like that. So she's smacking Imeho in the face or Jun Pyo in the face. And then she gets to her stance. I was like, okay, girl, okay. Okay, what you about to do? I know that stance. So then, when she jumps up in the air and roundhouse kick Jun Pyo in the face, I was like, there's some hope for her yet. There is some hope for her. And then everyone's just looking at her. And then she just throws this thing in his face, this dirty napkin in his face. Hilarious. But what she says, if you do anything like this again, you're dead. Love it. So this is anime version. She runs like Naruto, jumps in the air, kicks Domyoji in the face, and he is just dumbfounded. And then for her, I love Domyoji's face. So she puts the red flag on his face. It says it's a declaration of war. I love that. So yeah, I had to add this part in case y'all were wondering. After he smacked her, she got the fist and uppercutted him. Uppercutted his ass down on his ass. And then said that she'll never forgive him or whatever. Had to put that in there. So Jundi, back to her. How she's fighting off the class. She's just talking back to them. First time I've seen in the series in the first 10 episodes, I believe. So she's talking about everybody because how you gonna come at her friend for having plastic surgery or whatever when y'all got your eyes, nose, and lips done? Like what sense is that? So, but the friend that backstabbed her, which was really wrong, smacked her. Loved it. Then she smacked her again with the red cheek. I was like, okay. So you, okay. I love the smack. So in the anime version, her friend that did her wrong is her, Sakurako. Sakurako, I think her name is. So she was Sakurako, yes. So she was the reason why that dude was in the picture with Makino. and it got all over to the school. She's the reason why. Same for John D with her friend. So how Makino stepped up to her was she used her words. She was very verbal, and she just called her ugly. She pierced her to the core with her words. Whereas with John D, she just slapped her. And I love the slaps. I'm just saying this is the difference. So same thing for here with John D. After they tripped her off her bike and did all that stuff to her way of fighting back to the bullies is saying, keep at him. You want to keep doing stuff to me? Whatever, just keep doing it. And I'll fight back, I guess, internally. Even though this was the worst for her, I felt like she could have died or something. Something wrong definitely could have happened. Makino, punch him in the face, blood come out. So she's getting jumped, but she is fighting back. And she knows how to move, like use her body, everything. Headbutting people, elbow people, uppercutting them. Like she knows what she's doing. And then she keeps saying that she's a weed. Like you will not take her down. I love that attitude. But then, of course, something happens, and then, they're coming at her, and she's getting jumped this time. She's getting jumped. They're holding her down. And the sick part about this is that they're dudes doing all this. It just annoys me. Then the three mean girls are there. They are, I swear, they're the worst in the anime. They're the worst. So, for Jun D, she was sticking up for her friend. Her friend's oppa was cheating on her and doing her wrong. So she lets out this warrior cry, jumps up, kicks him in the face with the dirt on it, hits him again, stomps on him, and then she threatens him. Loved it. I love how she sticks up for her friends, just like Makino, but I just love how she did it here. With her friend's oppa or ex-oppa. I loved it, but okay, so here's another one. So Sakurako, as you see here, which this is Makino's first time meeting her. So this dude is harassing her, and all she sees is Domyoji's face because of the assault, the incident that happened, and she is trying to get her anger out one way or another. So just looking at her is just hilarious. Once he touches her, she just remembers about that incident, that horrifying incident. Punches him in the face. Nah, that was an uppercut. She uppercut him in the face, kicked him in the chin, and then now look, jumping all up and down on this guy's back. Talk about she gonna kill him. She was letting out that steam. So that was the last question of this video. I'll let you guys decide which you thought was best, the anime version or the K-drama version with this question here. Or who fought their bullies the best, Chun-Li or Makino? Thank you so much, guys, for tuning on this video and Let's Debate. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed this. I really love the anime, and I really enjoy the K-drama too. So I want to know what you guys think. Is a give and take. I want you guys to answer the questions, the first 4 questions that I put on here as well. I want to know who you thought was the best, whose antics you thought was the worst, which mean girls was the meanest girls. Just write in the comment down below. Thank you so much. And if you like this video, I would definitely do a part 2. Yeah, so bye.